Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing today? Good morning. So, let me make sure I got myself together. I put on my good jewelry for y'all today. Good morning, everybody. I just get myself together. I shortened this necklace, so I'm just trying to make sure it lay right because I want to showcase my stuff here. So, good morning to you. Welcome to Power Hour. This is totally impromptu today. So, I need you to do me a favor and share, tag, like. I have a whole YouTube channel, Critical Conversations with who? With LHG. Go ahead and subscribe. That way, you're notified every time I go live. Follow Trailblazers with the Z Radio, both on YouTube and Facebook. I have a topic today that's going to probably be a little deep, but we're going to try to keep it as light as we can, but it's just that kind of day. First of all, thank you for tuning in. This is Power Hour, and I normally do Power Hour on Monday. Let's sit that right there. The title of today's Power Hour is Depression and Business. One thing depression does, it makes you not want to handle your business, even the business that you enjoy. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to pray. I'm going to make sure I have everything up and going on my phone. So we are getting all of our comments that we're supposed to get. I hope you're on your lunchtime. First of all, are you taking a lunchtime? Let's put that out there. Stop working through your lunch. Take your lunch period. Matter of fact, take your lunch period away from your desk. I'm helping somebody this morning. Take your lunch away from your desk. Get up and take a walk. Get up and go eat, because we have normalized returning to a slave like mentality when it comes to working. Give them their 8 if that's what you work, but your 30 minutes, your 1 hour lunch is for you. Whether you got to go take care of a few errands or whether you're going to sit down and have a good meal and digest your meal. Problem is you start working and eating, talking to clients, taking calls, trying to eat, and you end up with gas. We adults, right? You end up with gas. So, your first tip for today's Power Hour, and I'm going to remind you of this probably every single Power Hour: take your break. Let me tell you what Power Hour is. Let me give you a little history and then we'll dive into our topic. If you know me, you know I have over 30 plus years of corporate experience, 25 of that in a call center environment, um, 20-ish of that in a leadership capacity, off and on, whether it was supervision, management, or training. So business is what I do. Am I perfect at it? No, but I have enough experience that I can probably help somebody. So I just like to come on once a week for about an hour to help you and me, because business doesn't just exist in the corporate environment. Don't you have your own personal affairs? Don't you have bills to pay? Don't you have people to call, appointments to make, and show up to? That's business, right? Yes, that's business. You may even have your own business like me. Perfect segue. I'm a whole independent paparazzi consultant, y'all. Y'all see, I come on glittered up at all times. And I enjoy what I do. I am a billboard for paparazzi jewelry. My business is called Polished on Purpose. Put your business in the comments. It is Power Hour. Polished on Purpose Paparazzi. We specialize in $5 jewelry, but we also have that amazing Z collection, baby. They are beautiful. And it's gift giving season. I'm going to put my link in the comments if you want to do some online shopping this week. There is my website. Feel free to shop until you pop. I also go live. I have not been live this week. That's a topic we're going to talk about today as well. Depression is real, anxiety is real. And sometimes when you are dealing with those diagnoses, even the things you enjoy doing, there you feel like I just can't do it today, even though I know I want to. Depression doesn't know the difference between what you love and what you don't sometimes. It will tell you don't go live. Don't show up. Don't make that phone call. It's going to overwhelm you. You're going to have an anxiety attack. Depression speaks. It's a voice, it's a spirit. And it tells you that if you do something, something bad is going to happen because you don't know what's going to happen. It's the pessimistic voice. It's a pessimistic spirit that always wants to show you the horrible side of stuff before you even try things. And why I called this show Depression in Business is, even though you may have a diagnosis of depression and anxiety, business still has to go on. You can't avoid making the phone calls. You can't avoid your appointments. You can't avoid paying bills. That's not going to work. So that's why I called it that. And I know that may be a sensitive word, or we don't want to talk about depression. We saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost. Hey, yeah, God, running for Jesus. But baby, guess what? I'm running for Jesus too. But I have a diagnosis that gets in the way at times, and I have to push through that. How? With prayer, with doing what I love, being around people I love. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's pray first. Father, in the name of Jesus, oh, a wonderful Savior you are. Thank you for giving us the gift of this day, this opportunity, this power hour to talk through some things, to enlighten each other, to learn, to glean, to grow, to develop, to release. So, God, this morning, as this day continues to unfold, we thank you for effective communication in our business interactions. We thank you that we are eradicating fear. You have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and the soundness of mind. We are sound and making godly decisions because you are with us, Lord God. So help us to handle our business affairs in a way where we are not triggered, where we are not angry, we are not lashing out at people, we are in good character, we are at peace, and we have joy. In Jesus' name, amen. Don't forget to like, tag, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's dive into this. So I put a post out there yesterday, I want to say, and it was concerning handling business calls. Okay. As adults, I'm going real fundamental here. As adults, we have to handle business. Whether you have children or not, we have to handle business, which means whether you have bills you have to pay, setting up doctor appointments, paying your debts to individual people, those are business transactions. You may even have your own business. I am a person that feels like I want to hone my skills on handling my personal business so that those good and godly decisions trickle over into my business decisions. I am not sure I believe a person can be excellent in business, but their personal affairs are jacked up. I just don't. And you can debate me in the comments. I just don't think that that goes together. So in aligning myself with the word of God, in aligning myself with taking care of my business, I have made it a point to get a planner. We are planners at. We didn't talk about this before. This is my Dollar General planner. It says get it done. I bring this to every power hour discussion because it is important to plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. If you are the kind of person who just operates off the seat of your pants, you don't put appointments in your phone, you don't make notes, you just out here just renegade style. That's going to catch up with you and something's going to fall through the cracks. Something's going to get missed. I have had situations recently in the last couple of months where I double booked myself. I had committed to a function with a sister of mine that had an event, but then a paparazzi event came up and I signed up and called my business partner saying, "We going, we going, we going," only to realize I had double booked. How did that happen? I didn't check my calendar in my phone, and I didn't have it written down in my planner. So when we are conducting our business affairs, everybody, find a way. Whether if you like the phone thing and you use your phone, calendar, Outlook, whatever, fine. I have to use two things. The planner makes me write stuff, and the way I retain is by writing. So if you haven't went into your planner yet and filled out the days of the month of December, you late. We are already at December what, 5th, 6th? So I will suggest you grab your planner. Hey, brother BD, thanks for being in the comments today. We got to get organized, bro, because the lack of organization fuels depression. The lack of organization is going to fuel the anxiety. When you start getting phone calls about, hey, you missed your appointment. Oh, you didn't pay your bill. You got charged a late fee. Non-organization or disorganization costs money. When you forget to pay a bill, these companies are charging you. When you forget to show up to your doctor appointment, they may choose to not see you anymore or charge you fees for not canceling in advance. So being unorganized comes with a cost, a mental cost and a financial cost. So if you have not purchased a planner, they are at Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Mine breaks it down by month and by day. So I went into my planner for the month, put the numbers in for each day, and then in the sidelines of my planner, this is my planner, y'all. In the margin of my planner over here is where I could put meal prep plans. I could put extra notes I want to put this to make stuff stand out. If I have a project due, give yourself ample time to do it. Don't wait until the deadline and you are cramming. I don't know about y'all, but in high school, middle school, I hated cramming for a test. But now that I look at my life, I even had anxiety back then because sometimes I would keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. Anxiety makes you put stuff off that is important. Why are you putting it off? Because you think it's insurmountable. You assume you can't handle it. But putting it off makes it grow and fester and linger. Trust me. Don't pay that bill. Don't respond to the creditor's calls and letters. It's not gonna just disappear like Casper, the friendly ghost. You're gonna get garnished. Then you're gonna wonder, why is my check so short? Because Capital One told you that you owe them for that credit card you ain't paid for. You didn't want to open the letter. You didn't want to respond to the lawsuit they were filing against you. Honey, these credit card companies ain't playing with you. These creditors are not playing. They're in the business of getting their money. They don't care if you got anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia. They don't care. They want their money. But I will say this. Let me be very transparent. What I have learned about the majority of creditors since COVID, many of them are willing to work with you. Why? They get their money. Even if they get it in a slower pace than what the contract said, they get their money and you get peace. I grew up in a home where we could not answer the phone. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer the door. Don't peek out the window because of creditors. And again, no shade. I love my parents. My stepdad is deceased. May he rest in peace. My mom is alive and well. Thank the Lord. But unfortunately, I grew up in a home where we ran from debt. We ran from credit. We ran from people who we owe. And although I was a child, I can remember the tension. Don't go to the window. Don't answer the phone. That's not the kind of life that I wanted for my daughter. That's not the kind of life I want for myself. So if you have a bill If you owe someone money, be it a company or an individual, don't avoid them. They may be willing to work with you if you just say something. Adults don't run from bills. I did that in my earlier years. I didn't open the letters, and they turned into garnishments, into lawsuits. And once your check is garnished, they can take up to a third of your money, if not more now, because this was 10, 20 years ago. The law allows creditors to hit your paycheck tough because you were given a chance to call, you were given a chance to write them, you were given a chance to tell your story. If you're not working, if you're on disability, if you've hurt yourself, call these people. One thing I learned during COVID, and thank God for the different relief programs that came into play during the pandemic. Companies were willing to forgive certain debt, reduce certain debt. Um, I never thought I would have needed the credit card assistance program. It costs you like $6 a month to cover yourself in case of sickness or loss of employment. You don't anticipate losing your job. You don't anticipate getting sick. But guess what? It happened to me. So thank God I had signed up for that $6 a month credit protection program, which did what? It paid the minimum balance for about a year, if not even more than a year, while my situation improved or not. But at least it kept my name in good standing with them. And now I'm able to keep that card for rainy day. Let me tell you something. You don't really know the need and the necessity of planning and strategy until you hit a hard place. Sometimes many of us have to hit that hard place to understand why it's important to save, why it's important to conserve, why it's important to make smart financial decisions. Power Hour is 60 minutes of Lord, help us make godly decisions concerning our business, personal business, um, our financial affairs. That's what this is about. Hey, Simone. Good afternoon, sister. How you doing? So I do this to help me and to help us. Because this last couple of weeks, I had some things happening in my business affairs that had me so distraught. If anyone has ever had to deal with Cobra insurance and insurance after being discharged from a job, you have to be very careful with these insurance companies. And I worked in insurance, and I did make a post that all insurance is a racket. I was in my feelings. Not 100% of all insurance companies are scammers. I'll say 80%. But in this case, I have my Cobra insurance. I paid my premium, called them. They took my money and still terminated my policy. How do you let me pay you, take my money out of my account, and then turn around and send me a letter saying you're not covered? So the anxiety in me, Simone, girl, the anxiety in me rose up 100%. I was fuming because that same week I had a dental appointment to have some work done on my mouth. I'm counting on these benefits. I'm counting on the benefits I pay for. That's why, let me back up. When you call people and you make business phone calls, are you using a notebook? Because if you are not taking notes, it is crazy, Simone. It's horrible. The service is crazy. If you are not keeping notes when you make business phone calls, you are doing yourself a disservice. You ought to be able to write down the date and time you make a phone call, the person who picked that phone up, And don't let them talk too fast. Excuse me, I didn't catch your name, ma'am or sir. Can you repeat that? And how do you spell it? And what is your employee ID number? Hey, Sinette, thank y'all for coming through. When you make business phone calls, okay, that's why you probably shouldn't do it when you're driving. Pull over. Use your notepad in your phone or get you a notebook or your planner. You need to take notes for every single business phone call you make. Why is it important? People get convenient amnesia. Because if you hang up and call somebody else, how do you know that that last phone call was documented? You need to write down who you talked to, the day, the time. If they have a unique employee number, I have had to prove to companies that I wasn't lying. They're going to take up for their people, not you. You have to be your own advocate. Be an advocate for yourself by covering yourself, by keeping a business notebook. I have multiple notebooks. I went to Dollar Tree. This is a 5-subject, old school, high school notebook. Okay? Go old, Sinette. I go old school with my records. I do. And Sinette said recording on tape. Many of us have phones that have apps that can record conversations. They're recording you. Don't you know when you call a company and you hear that recording, this call is being recorded for quality assurance. They are recording those phone calls for quality assurance, but really to cover them. You can record to cover you. Trust me, these companies have thousands of hours in phone call record. Don't let them tell you they can't pull a phone call. They're probably lying. I worked in a call center for over 25 years. The calls are recorded because they have to pull those calls to do what? To make sure their employees are doing their jobs. That's how they measure if the employees are doing their job right. They pull the calls and do what's called a file review or a call review. Okay? But they can also pull those calls to prove what happened on the phone call between you and them. As a matter of fact, make them play the call for you. Sinette says also audio, video, sale, records. Do whatever you have to do. Because these companies are getting to a point now when COVID came and companies had so much turnover because the government was giving us wonderful stimulation with these checks and people were quitting to go home and wait for the checks. Some of them, not all of them. So they were losing employees, new people coming in every day, retraining people over and over and over. So when COVID hit and you waiting on hold longer, because they ain't got no people. Just like restaurants was struggling. They had no waitresses. Everybody was struggling with COVID. Because of the fact that they have all new employees, because the veterans have retired, COVID made companies give people early buyouts. So the ones who've been in a company 20, 30, 40 years, the majority of them have retired. Sinette says folks work from home, but they're not working. See, they are tied to a headset. But I've had people pick the phone up and hang it up in my face, Sinette. They don't want to work. Many of them don't want to take your call. Or they got crying babies in the background, barking dogs, they're cooking fish. COVID changed everything in terms of the work game in every industry. So when you call these companies, when you make a phone call, it could be as simple as making a doctor appointment. Have your notebook, your phone note, something. Make a note of who you're talking to. Who are you talking to on the other end of that phone? Because chances are they may or not be documenting your account with your information. I had to keep notes. I worked in that industry and we were trained. Matter of fact, I did the training. I trained employees to document every phone call. So, for example, if Sanette Day calls in to the phone company and she has a question about her bill, okay, I'm going to put in the notes, spoke to Miss Sanette Day. She called because she feels her bill is too high. I discussed multiple alternate phone plans with her. She picked a cheaper plan. The new plan will be $8 a month, which starts January 1st, and I put my name. That's how I train people to document accounts. But not everybody does that because many people are lazy, y'all. And companies do lie and say there is no manager, there's a net. I had that happen to me last week. And sometimes it may not even be a lie, net. They have started to now say, I am the manager, or there is no one to be transferred to above me. What? Are you serious? Are you telling me you're the owner of the company, ma'am or sir? They don't want to be accountable, Sanette. They don't want to transfer you. And I had a lady tell me, she says, your policy canceled and we sent you a refund. I said, well, why would you do that? My policy wasn't supposed to cancel. May I speak to a manager? Here is what her reply was, and hear me good. The manager isn't going to tell you anything different. My response, I don't care. As a consumer, I should have the right to be transferred to your superior. They can tell me the same bad news you tell me, but how dare you not give me the right to be transferred to a manager? Hello, Elder Rhonda. Good morning, my dear. Thanks for coming through. These companies are telling you there are no managers. I don't believe them, Sanette, but I do believe that they're being trained to tell you that because they don't have enough management or enough experienced management, and they know that they're messing over people. That's what it is. And I told her, I said, ma'am, in all due respect, because I ain't going to come out of character. Okay. If you are coming out of character on these phone calls, you may need some medication. Anxiety is real, y'all. No shade. I deal with it every day. But if you are on these business calls, yelling, screaming, and cursing, you may need a therapist, a good church, maybe even a good tambourine for worship. Because there should be nothing that makes you go off the handle in that way. Sanette says it happened to her Tuesday the 5th about a ride. That's what I'm going through. Wow. I feel like there is a way. Elder Rhonda says, no, the management don't want to take the calls. I agree with you, Elder Rhonda. I agree with you because I think they have managers. I believe every company has managers, but they've been told to keep trying. Tell them there is no manager. Tell them you ain't doing nothing about it. Tell them. My thing is, who are you talking to? Who's telling you to tell me this? Whoever is talking to you in your ear, can you put them on the phone? I want to talk to the person who's talking to you in your ear. I hear them. And I've been a manager in a call center. There's always someone over the team. But now they don't want to take responsibility and accountability for irate customers and escalated calls. We call these escalations. Okay. When I've talked to the person on the phone enough and they're not giving me what I need, I, as a consumer, I feel should have the right to speak to someone else, whether it's a manager, team lead, team supervisor. Rhonda says she's worked in that in call centers too for 20 years. We've been there and done that, Elder. And I thank God for the experience, Elder. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not for everybody, and it could be a lot. It could be a whole lot on both sides. Calling a call center could be a lot, and working in one could be a lot. I'm gonna do a whole webinar series on call center work. It can be done. Okay, I did it for 25 plus years. I learned a lot, but it came with a certain level of stress that I don't wish on nobody. depending on whose call center it is and how it's being ran. Now, on the customer side, please know there is a manager in that office somewhere. Even if that person is working from home, their computer system gives them access to a manager. Ain't nobody gonna have you come in the office and ain't nobody to report to. They're not doing that. Like Elder Rhonda said, they don't want the responsibility or the headache per se of handling the cost, but you're getting paid to be a manager though. You're getting paid. I don't have the grace for it either, Elder Rhonda. I have the grace to teach it, but I don't have the grace to work in it anymore. I'll be a consultant, but I wouldn't go back the way I was 25. I'm not the same person I was 25 years ago. First of all, let's be, I'm older now, Elder. I don't have that patience or grace. So that says that department makes it worse. Why not lower the issue instead of promoting it? See, here's the thing, y'all. If you're gonna hire managers, okay, we going off, but I want to talk about this. If you're going to have people in a managerial function, you have to train them in how to diffuse. Nobody wants to be trained. There is an art in diffusing these escalations. You have to be respectful. You got to shut up and listen to your customer. You got to have empathy. You got to be an expert at your industry. There is responsibility in being a manager. Why would you pay these people the money to be a manager and they're not managing? If you are working in a call center with the public, then you should have a management team that can handle escalated calls. I've been cussed at, yelled at. I've been called the N-word, but I made money to deal with that. Okay? I had the position and the paycheck to deal with that. And I told my staff, when they start yelling at you, fussing and cussing at you, transfer them to me. I get paid to deal with that. I didn't want my reps dealing with that. Elder Rhonda says, yes, they are getting paid, but not enough. I do agree. Elder, I agree with you. The pay is not enough. She says, I'm still getting calls from headhunters to come back to work at these companies, but she says, nope. Nope. She says she ain't doing it. I don't blame you. It took a lot out of me, Elder Rhonda, if I can be so honest. I learned a lot, but it came with a cost. And I don't believe that the pay was enough. My people who sat near me at work, because I ain't like working at home, I went to the job every day. They could hear the fact that these people were really going off on me. But the problem is, Elder Rhonda, here's the problem. They were going off on me because somebody somewhere dropped the ball. It just wasn't me. I had to take the hit as a manager. I'm taking the hit for what another department did not do. And that department didn't want the calls. That's the crazy part, Elder. I took the abuse and had to keep the relationship because of what somebody else didn't do. And that's kind of a part of leadership. You end up taking the heat for stuff you ain't even do, y'all. So that says respectfully respond even if customers don't. Oh, that's a word. I'm going to leave that comment right there for a second. If you're working in a call center, the one thing I had to learn how to do was not match energy. Because people call you frustrated. Most of the time, they're calling a call center because something has gone wrong or they have a question. So even if that customer is calling me with that negative tone or derogatory tone, I have learned that your kindness, dear customer service representative, not all the time, but many times, your kindness will kill it I have had people apologize to me at the end of the call because I refuse to let them take me to that level. I'm not going to lose my job cussing you out. I'm not. I got a kid and bills to pay. Got a light bill due, even got a gas bill too. Telephone disconnect, waiting for the next paycheck. So I'm not going to let you push me. If I get to the point where I feel myself rising up, and I have felt it. I'm human. If I feel myself rising up to that level, I used to put my hands up like this. This was my diffusing mechanism. They can't see me. I would do this. I would smile, and I would make sure that they didn't hear my frustration. That was the key. CEO Fred Beatty says sometimes the jobs we are on take more than what we give as workers on these jobs. And an equation that doesn't add up. I agree, Fred. Because for me, I'm gonna just go out and say this. Having the ability to handle a call center, I called it a ministry, because the kind of people that I would talk to on a daily basis, many of them needed prayer. It has been times where I would get phone calls from depressed people, people who were sickly and just needed a friendly voice. I called my work ministry. It took more than what they trained me for, Fred. To your point, I had to bring who I am as LHG. Well, I was LH back then. I had to bring who I am as a woman of faith to this job. I'm just gonna be real. That's what kept me from cussing them out. For real. Elder says, and I got paid wonderfully. When God said I was released to leave and my assignment was up, I was out of there. Elder, I'm glad you said that. I felt for some time that my assignment was up and I got paid wonderfully too. When it started to affect me mentally, that's when I knew my assignment was up. And I knew it was up because when leadership doesn't appreciate you, and the more you do, the more they expect you to do, and it becomes uh there's no work-life balance or flow, as we use the word flow instead of balance, but your work and your life is not appropriated the right way. um I was dreaming about work. it it changed my health. It upset my marriage. It upset my household. I knew I had to make some moves. Simone says, pray for me in this area, LHG and Sinette. Woo! Because I really try hard not to match the energy of customers at work. It takes prayer, Simone. And it took me to realize that those people, many of them are miserable, and it has nothing to do with you. You just happen to be the person that they see. And if I'm not mistaken, Simone, I think you work in food service. There can be some of the nastiest people in food service. Do you see those Facebook posts where folks is throwing stuff at the workers? It should never get to that point. Those are miserable people that are operating under a demonic influence. That's my opinion. If you come into a restaurant and someone put salt on your fries and you said no salt, and that causes you to throw the fries at them, something is wrong with you. You need to get psychiatric help. I've seen those videos, Simone, where people go into these establishments over the smallest infraction and they jumping over counters. That's not normal. That's not normal. Those people need to seek psychiatric help. There should be nothing that a person could do to you at Burger King to make you jump over a counter and get arrested. Fred says, oh yeah, and yet the management doesn't realize the tremendous emotional demands that a customer service job exacts. It's emotional. When you talk to people, there's emotions involved. And a lot of times it's negative emotions. A person will call me and give me so much hell. They don't even know me. But because of what happened to them earlier that day, they had an argument with their spouse. Their child got on their nerves. The dog bit them. I get that. I get that. We give that negative emotion to the wrong people. Elder says, absolutely. God sent me there and I had to allow him to release me. Come on, come on, come on, Elder. I'll be willing to leave and not think about the money. All money ain't good money, Elder. God provides. God provides, y'all. And I feel like if you stay on a job that is killing you emotionally, it's going to eventually trickle down into your physical health. Ask me how I know. It's not normal, Simone. It's not. And here's a challenge, Simone. When you get those people who are challenging you to that point where it's irate, I'm gonna go on a limb and say, go get the manager. Go get the people who they pay to handle the cussing people, the irate people. Because when my staff got people like that, I did not want them to have to deal with that. No, they pay me to handle that. I wanted my reps to be free to handle their calls with ease. And when they start fussing and cussing, you transfer them to LHG and I will take care of it. And then you can go release yourself from it, get a cup of water, and move on to your next call. That's the kind of the manager I am. Yes, Fred, emotions are transferable. Yes. Simone says, my boss threatened to slap the fire out of me. What? I hope you playing, Simone. Are you saying your boss threatened to slap the fire out of you? Because if you're not playing, I suggest you go file a report. I don't see a LOL at the end of that. Hi, Raj. Raj says, this is my girl. She in the comments. I started studying the importance. Me too. That's why I love you, Raj. Emotional intelligence. That helps us. See, we know what to call it back then. Back when I began working in the call center in 2000 and 2000, we didn't know how to call it emotional intelligence. That's what it is. Because we have to care for our employees, the people who are taking these calls, okay? Day after day. On Monday, the busiest day, right, Raj? Yeah, emotional intelligence. Yes, sis. Let me get back to Simone for 1 second. Simone, let me tell you this. If anybody threatens to put their hands on you, you should be talking to their manager and the police. Let me just be very honest. That we don't play. There's no reason for someone to threaten you with bodily harm, ever. I'm sorry you had to endure that. That needs to be reported to the police department and to that person's manager because that's unacceptable. There is nothing that, in my opinion, nothing should warrant someone saying that to you, Simone. So if you have not done it already, get off this podcast, make a phone call, and report it to the police. Write an incident report. Get you a piece of paper and write down point by point what happened, when it happened, who it involved. And on this day, at this time, Joshua Johnson threatened to slap the fire out of me when I was talking to my customer. Write it down. Make an incident report. Document, Simone. That, yes, HR and the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, I think is what it stands for. Sinette says call 911. Yes. There is nothing, hear me, Simone, nothing that should push someone to threaten you with violence. No. File a report. File a report. Please, your safety is of the utmost importance. And that's a hostile work environment. Companies make us take training. Am I right, Raj? Companies make us take training over hostile work environments to tell us that every employee deserves a safe work environment. If you are not safe, in your work environment, you should not be there until they make it safe. Please, Simone, write it out in detail. I mean, times, dates, names, locations. Please. No one deserves to be treated like that. No one. No one. That can turn into a case of assault. Companies pay people to create trainings all around that. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, Annette, that is toxic. Toxic. And that can start to bother you in your spirit and cause you to have anxiety. You don't deserve that. We can no longer allow jobs to push us into a place where our mental and physical health are compromised. No, 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 no. That is not the will of God. No, it's not. No, it's not. Elder says, you just confirmed I can't go back to work at these companies. If I told my husband that, she would come up, Lord have mercy. And you know what, Elder, we have started to normalize and accept behavior that is ungodly. 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 Fred says, for me, if you are a supervisor and you decide to threaten me, you're getting told on. They should get reported. Report them, Simone. Report them. Sinette says your state has numbers to call on the person and the company. Yes, yes, Elder. And I'm glad we had this discussion today. Power Hour is made for these kinds of discussions in business. We are there to perform a job and to get paid, not to be treated in a way that's inhumane. You don't deserve that. That's even if there was a performance issue, that's not the response. That's not the response. There should never be a statement made like that to anyone in the business world ever. That should be an automatic dismissal for that person and a report filed against them with the police. So Simone, I implore you, I ask you, I beg of you to take care of that, because I don't feel like you should have to go back to that. Zero tolerance. Come on now. This is 2023. Too much has happened in workplaces. There should be a negative 10 tolerance, worse than zero, because it's too much happening in workplaces. It's too much that has happened in the news, in employment, that we can't afford to have these things happening. Yes, Elder Rhonda says call today. Raj says get on it, Simone. Your people are saying call today. Do not sweep it under the rug. Please don't. Because when we do that, here's the thing. When we don't report that, the silence is acceptance. The silence, thank you, Simone. I'm going to follow up with you this evening. The silence is acceptance. When you allow people to say, and I'm talking to anybody who's ever had a situation at work where you have been blatantly or not so blatant, whatever. Disrespect is disrespect. They have an entire human resource department, internal affairs, whatever you want to call it, that should be handling that. The corporate office of your job, Simone, the corporate office should be involved in this. When you start dealing with people's safety, that's a corporate office function. So not just your boss's boss, the regional, the area manager, the human resource coordinator. The silence is also, it causes escalation. Yes, when we don't act on it, we're saying it's okay, and it could get worse because you're telling that person, you can do this to me. Yeah, that's true, Raj. That's true. Fred says, believe I have been in that situation and went scorched earth on the supervisor that threatened me, and it cost me my job. And the supervisor was retained. But that's why it has to be nipped in the bud in real time. She's got to get this written out so that this supervisor does not manipulate the truth, aka lie. We need to get her documented account on file. Okay, that way it's in the file of, there should be an incident report. Yes, this is abuse and harassment. Yes, companies have been sued for things like that. They can't expect you to work and produce in an environment where matter of fact, let me say this. I went to a McDonald's one time, and the gentleman that was taking my order was new. He took a little longer than normal. I didn't care, because I'm being a trainer. I give people time to get acclimated to their job. But his boss went off on him. We love you, Simone, and I'm going to follow up with you. And Sinette says the owner needs to be called, Simone. The owner needs to be aware of what's happening in his company. So the gentleman was taking my order. Very nice young man, but I could tell he was new and he was getting acclimated to the cash register. The manager comes up behind him and just start going off on the employee. I said, hold on a minute. Who are you talking to? And who's your manager? You know he's a new employee. So why would you not help him if you see he's struggling? You're yelling at him in front of me. That's public humiliation. How are you helping him when you're degrading him while he's learning? I'll let her have it. And I work in customer service. Train him. Don't yell at him, or get him a peer mentor to be near him. Because I couldn't even do ringing up 2 different lines at one time. I couldn't even do it. I let that manager know, I hear you and I see you. You're not right. And I reported her. I called the owner on her. You got the wrong one in leadership. The young man is new. He's learning the cash register. He's very kind to me. He asked for me to be patient with him, and I sure did. But here comes the manager behind him, going off on him in front of customers. Unacceptable. I called the owner. Give people a chance to become acclimated to their job. Be an encouragement to them. Give them a mentor to help them. Don't throw them out to the wolves because you need people so bad. Don't set them up for failure. Fred says, I say that to let Simone know to approach situation. Yes, I agree, Fred. Fred is saying, Simone, when you contact the company's owner or the manager's manager, to approach it with calm, poise, and do it the right way. Good advice. Good advice. We're not matching energy. Write down what happened, Simone, and approach it in a poised, calm way. Yes, I agree. Raj says when he should have been helping him. That's my thing. You are their manager. You're supposed to be his advocate, his person. But you walking behind him, fussing at him, screaming at him, embarrassing him publicly. I would have walked out. He stayed. And when it got done, I thanked him. And I told him how proud I was of him and how he handled the manager. So you showed me that you're more professional than your superior. Come on here. Everyone that has the title doesn't deserve it. Not every manager has people skills. People can get a position, okay? But do they really have the people skills, the emotional intelligence that Raj said? That would have said, let me go see about my person. That order is taking longer than necessary or needed. That's a better word than needed. Let me see what they need of me. Or face the music. A new person is going to take longer. Raj, we know that. In a call center, you come on the floor for the first time, second time, those phone calls are not going to be just 15 minutes. They're probably going to be 30 because you are maneuvering through scripts. You're learning the computer system. You're learning how to talk to the person, talking and typing at the same time. It's going to take longer when a person is new. It's the learning curve. Simone says the bad thing about her situation is that she literally said it. Oh, Simone. She said it in front of customers too. Simone, get off this podcast now. You have been released and go make some phone calls. Write it down. Please write it down, Simone. I am so sorry. My heart hurts. I want to call them. And I wasn't even there. To do that in front of people is doubly horrible. Doubly horrible. Hi, Courtney. Thank you for coming through today. That's my sister. So, Simone, yes, not only were you embarrassed one-on-one, but she said it in front of the customer. If I was the customer, I would have said something. Excuse me, I will ask you not to threaten to slap the girl that's waiting on my table. My heart hurts, Raj, because it's not necessary. I don't care what kind of bad day that manager had, Simone. You did not deserve that. And you a hard worker. You the one that comes in when everybody else call off, and you reward me with a threat to hurt me? No, 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 Simone. No, take action today. Write down what happened from start to finish. And be sure to add the fact that she did it in front of customers. That is called public humiliation. Yes, Fred, even more incentive to take action. There is no reason to be talked to like that. And I think I'm going to have to resurrect my leadership podcast. I did a series about leadership. And Raj, I'm going to pull on you because you're an excellent leader too. A part of being emotionally intelligent is knowing how to talk to people. Just because you are my manager doesn't mean you own me. Come on now. This is not slavery times. I'm not cattle that you own. You are the person who I go to teach me, to help equip me to do my best work. That's what you are. You should be someone I can trust when I need help and guidance and mentoring and coaching. If I can't come to my boss for encouragement, teaching, it could even include discipline, but that not threats. Not threats. Hey, Auntie Diane. Thank y'all for coming through here. We're not threatening people. No, that's called an abuse of power. People feel because they are the manager that they can abuse their authority. Absolutely not. The devil is a liar and a deceiver too. Communication is key. How you communicate in leadership is so important and so critical. Even if you have a person who needs guidance, even if you have a person who's making mistakes, the customer should even see that. It should be so seamless. Let's just put this out here. Let's just say a mistake was being made. Okay. The manager comes up and seamlessly helps the person take care of the table, get the customer their food, get them handled. And then later on, we'll have a teachable moment. Come on. That's private. That's private. And yes, there are laws that protect employees from predatory or abusive employers, whether it's physically and or mentally. Yes. Yes. I agree, Fred. As leaders, as managers, we are supposed to be teachers and not abusive slave drivers. Yes, Fred. I take management very seriously. I take it as a partnership, okay, between me and my team. I'm partnering with you to make sure you have everything that you need to be successful in your job, to make sure I foster an environment that is conducive for you to be comfortable in performing, for you to want to work, want to enjoy the job. As the manager and the leader, I set the tone for the department. I set the tone, Elder Rhonda. That's my job. Raj says the problem is you have a large sum of managers that don't want to get their hands dirty with their employee. Then they're in the wrong business. Go home and stuff some envelopes. If you are a manager and you are not willing to get in the trenches and help to develop your employees and cultivate their skills, you're in the wrong profession. I got to get out of here. Power hour has come to an end. Ooh, I got to take my baby to work, y'all. This has been great. Let's finish this Monday because this is a great conversation. Last couple comments and I'm out here. Fred says these folks be on these managerial power trips. Go ahead and grab the keys. It's pathetic and it makes me sick, which is why I learn and strive to be a better leader. Me too. Me too. Sinette says amen. Rod says I'm all about the Jay Leno mindset. I'm not going to sit in that high executive office. I'm here, right here with my people to help and lead. And that's why you are successful the way you are, Raj. Thank y'all for joining me. I got to go. Part 2 coming on Monday. Power Hour is back, y'all. Power Hour is back. Let's dive in deeper on Monday. I love y'all. I got to go. Share, tag, and subscribe. Bye, y'all.